Siwmai a chroeso i bodlediad Profiad y Dysgwr Coleg Gower Abertawe. Welcome to the Gower College Swansea Learner Experience Pod.
Before we continue, please subscribe and like the pod, as this will help us to grow and mean you'll never miss an episode.
Hi everybody, and welcome to our special edition Neurodiversity podcast. I'm joined today again by Jamil. He seems to be a bit of a recent feature on the podcast, but he's here today to tell you all about his journey with his autism, when he found out about it, his sort of struggles through school, and then the support that he was able to access through college, and now he's here working at the college. So what better guest to have on to talk about neurodiversity?
Hi guys, how is everybody? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey with autism, my life with it, my life in school with it, college with it, and just generally how I've coped throughout my life with autism. So it all started back when I was 4 years old. I was diagnosed at the age of 4 with autism, being that my clinicians felt that I was somebody who was quite slow in school. I didn't really make friends back then, and I wasn't really sociable, being that I felt I was in my own little world, as they quoted. And it was just because I was different, basically, to other people, essentially. And I was diagnosed at that age, and I went to have a primary school, which is not too far from me stayed. So I went there, and I spent about 7-8 years there. And a lot of it has had to do with my development, basically, in the classroom. So my type of autism, I'm glad it wasn't to do with behaviour more so. I think lots of people get the idea that if you're autistic then you have behaviour issues. For me it was a lot more academic, social, much more communication, speech and language more so. So it's gonna sound mad being the president here, has autism. I couldn't start speaking until I was 7 years old. I couldn't start writing, which sounds weird because usually people I hear in my life start reading then writing, or they do it at the same time. But for me it was weird, so I just copied down things on the board basically. So I started writing at the age of 9, and believe it or not, I couldn't start reading until I was 14 years old. And I also feel reading has got to do a lot with empathy, as empathy is the key to understanding. A lot of understanding of what's going on. Around 11 years old, I could be able to verbally read things out, but it was much more to do with understanding, which is why in around year 5, around 10 years ago or so now, I was told that I needed to go to a special needs facility in Pedro called an SDF. And so basically I went there, and I was introduced to a small group of other students who also have similar neurodivergent conditions, such as autism, the type I have, ADHD, dyslexia and so on, dyspraxia as well, and things like that. And at first, I felt I was really down because around year 6, I thought everybody went to get diagnosed with autism, because a lot of the times back in primary school I had to miss a few lessons because I had to go to the mental health clinic and get diagnosed with a few things, do some therapy sessions. I thought everyone else did, but it really broke me down at one point, being that I wasn't like everybody else, which was a shame. And in primary school I had to do a lot with blending in, and so that was the only pressure I had in primary school and secondary school and so on. But later on, when I went to the SDF, I was very disappointed, being that I went there and basically I felt that for the rest of my life I was not going to succeed, and I felt that I was nothing but a failure. I was ashamed of my friends and my family at the time, and I was nothing but just really disappointed with just life in the SDF. So then from then on I wanted to go to a normal school. Normal, first and foremost, guys, can mean so many different things. Normal could be having cereal for breakfast, having toast for breakfast, and I think normal is such an overrated term these days. So when I was just trying to experience my time with the SDF, it was kind of weird, because I felt I was being a definition like everybody else there. and like I wasn't myself. And basically around that time, if you were unique, if you're being yourself, everyone will make fun of you and make jokes out of you. And a lot of things as well I had to deal with was understand real friends as well. Like, you can have people laughing with you than people laughing at you. And what I didn't really see was that, and with the autism, with the lack of empathy I had, I retrospectively looking at it now, I had a lot more people who were laughing at me than they were with me at the time. So, and like the whole idea of me having friends back then, you know, it wasn't just like I merely liked people. It was just much more like I didn't want to get lonely, because people who are lonely back in like primary school and secondary school, they would get bullied. So I just did that merely for the sake of people thinking I'm not a lonely guy. So it wasn't until year 10 I went on holiday to Bangladesh, and I remember sleeping in a hammock which is tied upon 2 trees. And so when I had a nice rest, it was 30 degrees. Yeah, 30 degrees, Josh, isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Very nice. Don't get that very often here in Wales.
Very often, bro. So like, you know what I mean? And just like, I asked myself a question which I think lots of people need to ask themselves. Are you happy? Are you happy for the things around you, people around you and things? And I think a lot of people get anxious to ask that question as well, because I feel that people are pressured by work, school and everything else to be asked that question, to actually follow their dreams. And I asked myself this question. It was like my first sort of time to just lie down and ask myself this question. And when I ended up with the answer no, I started to accept myself. I started to do things that made me happy. I didn't want to listen to what other people made me want to think anymore. In fact, you know, when I was a young kid, Josh, you know what I mean? Some people thought I was possessed by a demon back in the day.
Surely not.
Yeah! My days. And like, bro, it's like, oh, the elderlies, man, legit, they're saying, oh, go and see the Exorcist or something, mate. Legit, it's crazy, man. Oh, I should have had that in the start, but yeah, legit, people thought I was possessed back in the day. And like, you know, from like year 10 and onwards, I started to accept myself, and I started to, you know, really do things that make me happy. So because of that, you know, I started to like being in the special needs facility, because, you know, in fact, they taught me a lot of things too, being that you don't just need to be in the classroom to learn. The world around you is a classroom. So they did a lot of things to do with trips. They did a lot of fitness lessons. We had a gym in our school, and you know they had free access to the gym, free access to the swimming pool, and you know I was missing all those stuff, because at the time, before, from year 7 to year 9, I was thinking, yo, I don't want to be like these people, because I don't want to be deemed as special, because the word being special meant like you were somebody who was going to succeed in life. And I regret to this day being that just I didn't do those fun things in the SDF, being that I didn't want to identify with them. But from year 10 to year 11, I started to accept myself really, and that also helped me get 11 GCSEs I started to see, which I'm still proud of to this day, or even for maths, because I couldn't laugh in maths, you know what I mean? Just know some.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
So like, yeah, after accepting myself, I really learned that like talent can take you far, but hard work, bro, it can take you anywhere. It can take you anywhere. Across the universe, across the galaxies, legit. Hard work can take you anywhere, and I feel that someone like me, I feel like I'm the epitome of hard work. I feel that I'm somebody who's, not just me, but like I feel that because of my hard work, it's got me to where I am today. And you know, to get on to about college, you know, it was a rough patch, of course, during COVID and everything. I was so glad that the college, you know, has learning support systems as well. I had something called Beth, you know, who helped me sort of help with notes, understanding, helped me sort of do exams to stay calm. She was very somebody who really brought me back down to earth, because I missed that idea of being in an SDF, because I loved it, and coming to a college was a very scary transition for me, especially during COVID when everything felt like a blip, you know, everything went online and things like that. It was kind of a scary time, and just like, you know, I honestly have no idea how I did it, but it was just down to having good people around you as well. I started to make better friends in college. I started to have more people who were like-minded as well, and people who actually want to be in a classroom. Because comparing like secondary school to college, you have people who don't want to be there in secondary school and they just mix on it. And like in college, you have people who actually want to be there. They actually want to study, get the best grades as possible. And that's the thing I really loved about college. It was very much like an expectation for me that college was going to be secondary school, but this and that. But it was actually very cool to have have people like-minded, and I'm still friends with these people to this day. And the college having this fantastic job available, being the student union president, it was very nice because honestly I felt that I wasn't ready for university, and this college really helped me as well when it came to sort of getting ready for uni with the UCAS support I got from my form tutors and whatnot. And I felt I wasn't ready for uni this time last year. So I did this job not just out of my fear of going to uni, but also because when I get older, I also want to get into special needs. I want to get into teaching and become a special needs teacher later on, and all something to work with like people with autism, ADHD, dyslexia. Being that somebody who's already been in special needs, I want to implement what I've experienced there, but also the experience I'm getting right now at the college. Working with people like Josh, yourself, Jess, our activities lead, Marcus and Haley. You know what I mean? It's been really nice, having this job so far, and it's also got me to just really just sitting down and like having people around me who accept me for who I am and not just what I do. And I think that's cool as well. With the fun and the bands we have now and again, it's just like what I mean. But it's just like I never got that chance to do that, to have a life where I could just be me. Like, to be honest, with my job, I could say that I haven't had a life since 2007. That's the year when I went to nursery school. But yeah, totally. Just I don't want this story to be like something. I've been privileged as well. With autism, it's all about being there to sort of find who you are, because the best gift with autism is that success takes time, and I think autism really taught me that. And it wasn't just that, it also taught me patience as well, and that with time life was going to get better as well, and things like that. So yeah, just my whole story with autism, it started really on the bottom. I didn't have real people around me, and it wasn't safe back then. But as time went on, as I got older, and as of today, I've really enjoyed sort of the journey from being nobody to somebody, really, at the end of the day. And I also really appreciate that nowadays it's a lot better to talk about mental health, and it's a lot better to talk about things like autism, ADHD, dyslexia. I don't think of autism as like a disability. I think of it as like a different ability. I think it's another way of life. I believe that autism is another perspective, as lots of people do have different views in life, and that's okay. And I definitely believe that autism really gave me that gift. And I just want to thank the good people around me, the support I got, especially from the college, from the LSAs, from the lecturers, from the librarians, all the many staff that we have around the college. It was really fantastic to have the support from them, and it got me to prosper to get this job, and I can't wait for the future. So that's kind of my story with autism.
Well, thank you so much, Jamil, for opening up there. That was a really, really good discussion, really nice and interesting for myself, and I hope other students around the college this Neurodiversity Week can take something from that, whether they've got a neurodiverse condition or not. I think everybody can relate to that. And I've just got I've got a list here, okay, of other people with a neurodivergent who are neurodivergent, okay? So these are really famous people. So Albert Einstein, Susan Boyle, Greta Thunberg, Richard Branson, Whoopi Goldberg, Justin Timberlake, Simon Biles, Steven Spielberg, Howie Mandel, Bill Gates, Muhammad Ali, Keira Knightley, Who else we got on this list? Lewis Carroll,
Lewis
Billie
Carroll.
Eilish, Steve Jobs, Pablo Picasso.
Pablo!
So it's a bit of a message to say you're not alone, okay?
Oh, yeah.
These other people have managed to achieve some really great things,
Yeah.
okay? And
I
similar to
know
yourself, where you said you started off as nobody, and now look at you, student union president of Gower College, Swansea. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
Nah.
So we're going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to have Emma on the show as well to talk a little bit about the support available in college. So hopefully you stay around and listen to that. But for the time being, Jamil, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Josh. Pleasure to have you. And it was a very awesome time.
Perfect. So Jamil will be running some stalls for Neurodiversity Week.
Nice.
So head down, pop down and see him, Peacock Orchard line at lunchtimes. He'll be there for support, and there's loads of posters, and then he'll give you some information on the support available in the college. So thanks for joining us.
So that's the end of part 1. So thanks to Jamil and his insightful journey through education. Next episode, we will look forward to welcoming Emma Jones to talk all things support and Neurodiversity Week. Remember, be safe, be ready, be respectful.